Punters Lounge live on this big Saturday of racing. Emily Bosson with you to talk through all things action from Trentham and, of course, Ellerslie. We do look forward to a Group 1 day at Trentham. Captain Cook Stakes will be coming your way this afternoon. Don't forget a twilight meeting from Ellerslie and just a normal start time with regards to Trentham. Let's get straight off and into the action. Stephen Hunt joins us. And Stephen, we've got two pretty important meetings today, one up north, one, of course, at Trentham. Tell me, what have been the best backed runners on both programs?
Good afternoon, Emily. Yeah, well, again, punters targeting these feature races. We saw it 7 days ago with the likes of the Wanganui Cup with Glory Days and Love Affair up at HQ. So the two races they're targeting today up at HQ in the Bone Crusher Stakes, Group 3 level. Total Excess, always respect the unbeaten gallopers, what I've learned over the years, Emily. This horse opened in second line of betting at $5.80. It's been backed into favourite. $4.20 you could have got literally about 20 minutes ago. It's now to $3.80, and that's just on the back of a $2,000 bet we accepted on $4 at that price around Total Excess. In Trentham, the Captain Cook Stakes, Group 1 level. They've gone with the class galloper here in John Snow. Track conditions to suit a slow 8. Currently at Trentham, $4.80 second favourite during the week when betting commenced on Wednesday. He is now current equal favourite with Dance 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 at a $3.80 line. So John Snow, best back runner in the Group 1 feature later on this afternoon.
Fantastic, Stephen. Looking forward to catching up with you later on for all of those previews and see how those markets have progressed in the meantime. Let's get you off to our first venue for the day. We head along to Trentham, where, of course, during the week, you may have heard that we've had quite a bit of rain, but looks like the track has come back in beautiful order. And I know, speaking to a few people down there, that the weather has been fantastic. They've got a low of 12, a high of 23, which will help those drying conditions. Fine northerlies, track condition a slow 8, running rail in the true positions. That bodes well for the Trentham track coming back and perhaps giving us a little bit of better conditions later on this afternoon. Ellerslie is our other meeting, a twilight meeting, and it's not going to be quite so hot up here in Auckland. A low of 15, a high of 21. Fine. Breezy southwesterlies. The track condition is currently rated a dead 5. Wonderful conditions. The running rail is out 6 metres, so just bear that in mind when making your investments. Sometimes when the rail's out at Ellerslie, it is better for those horses racing on speed. Somebody who's got a pretty impressive book of rides coming up this afternoon at Trentham is Matt Cameron. And Matt, we join you there at Trentham, and I understand it's pretty warm conditions.
Hello Emily, yes, it's sitting here, it's actually quite warm with the sun on your back. I think driving in on the car was 24 degrees, so it looks like it's going to get a little bit warmer, I think, so it makes for good days racing, I suppose.
It sure does. If we get straight into the Group 1, you've got a really plum ride in John Snow. You know this horse inside out, and I'm sure you've been down to ride him a couple of times. You were on him in that trial. How have you felt he's come back from Melbourne? Do you think that he's trained on okay?
Yeah, I think he is. He's a horse, you know, nothing seems to worry him. You know, Murray and Andrew know him quite well, and he's come back in super order. You know, he's obviously stallion prospect, so he's there. He's a nice boy. He's gentle, and he's looking super. His trial was enormous, and you know, I think he had the track to suit at the trials, and I think he's going to get that today. And if he can bring anywhere near close to that form from Australia, he's got to be a top chance.
Speaking of his trial, he obviously was pretty impressive when he won that. Was that expected from the team? Did Andrew give you a lead into how he maybe was going to trial?
Not really. You know, I know the horse just as well as most people, but the horse is honest. He jumps and puts himself in the race, and there's no reason why he wouldn't trial well. You know, they wouldn't have sent him around if they weren't that happy with him. But he's trialled super, and I try to get him to go a little bit past the line, just a bit more of a blowout. But his ears pricked. Our Aberdeen's a fair horse too as well. So he's had plenty up his sleeve, and obviously short of his best. But I think when they come around and get a bit aggressive, and I think he's really going to turn it up.
No doubt you would have watched his races in the spring in Melbourne. Of course, he was so impressive in the Mackay Diva and then into the Turnbull. What did you make of those runs? They were pretty good, weren't they?
They were pretty good. You know, you just look at the form around a lot of the horses. He didn't get the rub of the green. He's a horse who does need probably a little bit of clearer and to really get stuck into it. And it's hard to go over there, especially at that time of the year with those horses. You know, you've got the likes of Humidor behind him, all these horses that are just absolutely super horses. And you know, this race in particular, he looks home, but he's a horse who does grind a fair bit. So I think against these horses today, I think he can outgrind them for sure, and he's honest as they come. So that's all you need, really.
You spoke about the track conditions just earlier. Obviously, we've got a slow 8 there at Trentham at the moment. With the 24 degrees around, that may come back. What would be the ideal conditions for you? Are you concerned that the track may get better, or you think he'll handle the slow 8 just fine, or what are you thinking with regards to the track?
Yeah, I think the key is, you know, I think the amount of rain they've had here, it was a heavy 10 a couple of days ago, and it's come back to a slow 8. I don't think the track's going to improve a hell of a lot. It might improve to a slow 7, but the fact that the rain around is probably going to get a little bit puggy, a little bit rough. And I think it's not going to get faster. You know, I think people got to realise it's probably not going to get faster, and they're not going to run better times. It's the fact that it may be drying out slightly, but it's still going to rough up, and it's still going to be reasonably rough with the amount of rain that they've had over the last few days anyway.
And does that concern you with Jon Snow, or not really?
No, it doesn't at all. He's performed on dead tracks and even good tracks. He's performed probably not as good, but the track's not going to get back to a dead 4, dead 5, probably not even a dead 6. I'm picking with the puddles around and the amount of rain they've had. I don't think it's going to have enough time to dry out, but I don't think that'll worry him whatsoever.
In the other stakes race on the programme, you do ride Aretha, that is in the 2-year-old event, the Wakefield Challenge Stakes. And Aretha sits in the market at 320 and 510. Matt, you've been on this horse in its trials. What have you made of its preparation? What is it like as a horse? Is it professional enough to handle a big day at Trentham at a first performance?
Yeah, I think she is. You know, her last trial was super. She's a speedy filly. She steps the gates well, and at the trials anyway, and she put herself right up there and travelled sweet the whole way. You know, it is quite daunting to come to Trentham. You get across that junction, that straight. It is quite daunting, and there's a lot of room in the track. But if you can get a horse to travel across that junction, get a bit underneath you and just wait slightly, because you get halfway down the straight and you've still got a long way to go, especially on little horses. And I think she's speedy enough and she's tough, and obviously from the Baker Forsman team, you know, she'll be tuned up, ready for this, and I don't think it'll be any worry, and I think she will get through the track. She handled Matamata quite nicely.
Will we expect to see her on speed, or would you be looking to settle her sort of in around the other horses today?
It just all depends on how we jump. You know, she can be fast at the trials, but there's no real mad rush at the trials. You know, you jump, you look after them as much as you can, but when it comes to race day, you know, the big environment, everything could be a little bit different. Some horses switch on, some horses switch off, and you've got to take the other horse into account as well. But the way she stepped out at the trials, I don't see why she won't jump and put herself in the first 3 at least.
And in the second on the programme, you're going to be riding Lady Nadal, and you've ridden this horse at its past 2 outings. You meet a pretty small field today. Just talk me through that last start win on the good track over the 1400. Were you happy with that performance?
Yeah, I was. She's a mare who does want a bit of cut out of the ground, which is probably going to play into her hands today. It was a bit of a cat and mouse race at Waverley. She's gone down there as the best horse, and I got pushed off on the turn, didn't corner that well, and the second horse really kicked away. But I think the class of her and I think the better horse got over top, and I think the last 100 metres she really got going and got into her gears, and it was quite comfortable on a track she wasn't 100% comfortable on. But I think today she's going to get all favours from the nice draw and the small field, and hopefully we can get the same repeat job done.
You were at 1400 metres last time and you dropped back to the 1300. Does that concern you at all with her?
No, nothing at all. She steps the gates well. She puts herself in the race, and you know, even a 1200 metre race wouldn't be beyond her. But you know, Murray and Andrew will have her ready for this, freshen her up slightly as they're dropping back to 1300. But she's an honest little mare, and she'll be right there in the finish.
Let's move along to the 5th on the card, which does feature Lucetta, and 460 and 560 on the favourite in this one as well. And Matt, that was a really good maiden win last time over the staying distance of the 2100 metres. You step it up to 2-4. Does she appear to you like a horse who's going to relish that further trip?
Yeah, she is. She's a really relaxed mare. She doesn't overdo herself, and you know, it was a bit of an overdue win for her last start, and she finally got it, which was great to see. Really attacking the line. Stepping up in distance is not going to be a worry. She settles anywhere. She's got the nice draw just to go to sleep wherever she lands, and I think the track will play into her hands. She has got a bit of a low action, but I think she's tough. She's one of those mares that'll just keep grinding, and she's got the fitness on her side. And once again, it's the Baker Forsman tune-up that they'll get and the polish on, and I'm looking forward to riding her.
Matt, we've just touched on 4 of your rides today. You had to obviously have a couple of others. If you had to pick out your best ride of the day, your best chance of the day, what would it be?
I think I'll have to go with the 2-year-old. You know, it's a small little field. She jumps, she does everything right at the trial, so I don't see why she can't do that again. And I think she's a speedy filly who's tough at the line, and you know, going up against a couple of decent ones today, it'll really get her to attack the line. So I'm really looking forward to riding the 2-year-old.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Matt, and best of luck today in the Group 1 on Jon Snow.
Thank you, Ems.
So Matt Cameron there just talking through his rides today, and we do move straight along. We get to Stephen Hunt, and Stephen, tell me about the specials that we've got at Trentham today and what we can look forward to during that program.
Yeah, we'll run through a couple at least, Emily. Firstly, the J Challenge, where really does come down to 2 key jockeys here, in Jonathan Parkes and Matty Cameron. We just heard from Matty Cameron, his key rides. Out of 7 rides, 4 of them for the Baker Forsman stable. So a lot of respect around Matty Cameron at a $3 price. You see there on option 410. Jonathan Parkes, $1.75. He has 9 rides, so a ride in each race today at the Champagne Turf, Jonathan Parkes, and he has a key ride in the first around a horse of the name of Lincoln Falls, who will start no higher than $1.30. So a lot of this J Challenge will be shaped after the first race around Jonathan Parkes and his chances. Opie Bosson there, $6.50 chance, 5 rides, but they're all key rides. 4 out of those 5 are current favourites around Opie Bosson. I expect he'll have to win at least 2 of them, knowing the fact that Jonathan Parkes, Matty Cameron, I can see them probably gathering 10 points is what you're probably looking to aim for to take out today's J Challenge. And Lisa Allpress, the other one in the mix there at $7. 8 rides, her best earlier in the day, Contessa Vanessa, and also Dark Princess in the Group 1. We've also got a couple of other spot options. Option 420, exact combined wins, Jonathan Parkes and Matty Cameron. Currently, the most popular has been Selection 4 and Selection 5, Emily, $3.20, 4 wins combined for Jonathan Parkes and Matty Cameron, and also Selection 5, 5 wins at a $6.50 price. So they're the 2 that they're really targeting at the moment, punters, in the first 2 hours of trading. Exact combined wins, J Parkes, Matty Cameron.
Well, thanks for that, Stephen. Looking forward to catching up with you later on with some more info with regards to those meetings. Let's get you off to a break here on the Punters Lounge. On the back of that, we link in with Chris Gibbs, find out about Dan's Dance Dance and also his other runners.
Through his True Falls and Lindsay Satherley. Quick Thinker Jonathan Riddell and Your Deal Opie Bosson right down the outside is going to the lead now. Aretha Matt Cameron's in. True Falls a nice close late for second, back on the inside.
Heel straightened up by 12 lengths on Status. On the beach is outside, and then we've got wider out who's Calm Harbour. To the 300 metres, Latham Bay still 6 lengths in front, but they're chasing after him now. On the beach, Status, and then Calm Harbour out wider. Still Latham Bay to the 200 metres, 4 lengths. On the beach is chasing hard now, and Status between runners, and then we've got Calm Harbour out wider. Calm Harbour swept to the lead from On the Beach, Status, then Valdano, but Calm Harbour back in winning form, and he'll take the Group 1.
Great to look back at the historic Captain Cook Stakes, and we look forward to the 2018 edition of the Captain Cook Stakes, and we've got a wonderful field engaged. Let's head back to Trentham. We've got Bevan Sweeney on course, and Bevan, we'll say a very good afternoon to you. Must say you're looking very dapper today.
Yeah, well, I had a few requests for another hat. I couldn't find a new one, so we've just gone with the cheese cutter again. Emily, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Trentham Gardens, where we are under beautiful skies. It's very warm here. At this time, it's just after the midday point, so whether we get enough hot weather to improve this track further is the question mark. There is a big cover of grass on this particular track and a big dew this morning, so it is going to run around about that slow 8 early on in the program. I just spoke to Jonathan Parks. He's been out and walked it, and he felt it was at that sort of level. I think it's warm enough that we could possibly have an upgrade, but I think all in all, Emily, with the weather we've had over the last 4 or 5 days here down in the lower North Island, we've come up with a track that's about as good as it could be.
Absolutely, it certainly is going to make for a much more straightforward day of racing than perhaps we were going to face. First race on the card is the Lone Star Petone Premier. Lincoln Falls is heavily supported in this market, $1.30, 105, 160, 90 cents. Stephen, has there been any interest in anything else, or is Lincoln Falls just taking all of the money?
Yeah, it's just all round number 1, Lincoln Falls, Emily, $1.30. Got as short as $1.25. I can declare I don't think it will start any higher than $1.30 and trade at any time throughout this afternoon above $1.30 its current price. See $1.60 on the totalizer there, just a tick over 6,000. Just crunching a few numbers around Lincoln Falls. We've accepted a $10,000 bet around about an hour ago around Lincoln Falls at $1.30. A number of 4-figure bets. There's around about 900 multis in progress. That will go well over 2,000 plus. Come around about 30 odd minutes away this particular race, the first to kick off the 9-race program. Outside that, the stablemate Platinum Mamsell at $5, offer short of $4.50, and the rest we just cannot write a ticket. So it's all about Lincoln Falls. He's got real upside, and he'll be having to win this if they think he's a serious contender for the Levin Classic in a few weeks' time.
Bevan, we'll get along to you with the speed map. I'm thinking with my heart, he's by Dundeel. He's so impressive in that maiden win, I remember, and so he goes on top for me.
Well, he should be, Emily, because he'll be winning. Where they pause him up in the run will be interesting, because post this race he does go to Ellerslie on Boxing Day for a look round there for thoughts towards the Derby, and then he'll come back for the Levin Classic here at Trentham through the Carnival, I believe. I don't think they'll be leading on him. I think they'll give him a chance to sit back and chase something. He's got all the ability. He's pretty green, as you'll see here in this video. He comes around the corner. Maybe Jonathan left him in front just that little bit soon with Langkawi coming off his back. And look, he's gawking at things in the stand. You see his ears prick up. He's not really sure what to do. I think he was a little bit shinny this day as well. He's had a trial in behind the Very Smart Start, wondering where he boomed home at Awapuni, but he knows little. He'll improve out of that first preparation, and I think he should be winning today. In fact, he will be winning. I think he's probably 8-9 lengths better than the remainder of this field. And if he's going to be a serious contender further on in the 3-year-old season, he'll be winning here today. He did have a bit of a blow post his trial, so there's going to be further improvement in him, but he is a very smart horse. He's on top over Platinum Mamsell, who I thought was pretty good behind Avantage through the Hawke's Bay Carnival. Billy Pin takes 3 kilos off there. Kahu Rock's not the worst of horses, so I expected him to win a race by now in this preparation. He just seems to be on that quiet improving path. Then I put in the 3, Somewhere Man for Lisa Allpress and Josh Shaw. Not a bad run, fresh up for Josh this preparation, and maybe an improver into the race, but the one at the top of the book, Lincoln Falls, looks like the one that'll be anchored through all sorts of multiples throughout the day.
Hopefully it gets people off to a winning start in their day. Up next is the Rating 82, the Genie and Holmes Premier, and it is the second on the card from Trentham. Contessa Vanessa, 270, 110, 250 and 210. Stephen, a horse that we've seen, we know how good she is, but just hasn't quite shown at this prep a massive drop in grade. What's the market telling us with regards to punters' thoughts?
I think that's the key, Emily. The drop back in grade. She's been contesting group levels, elite levels over the Hawke's Bay Carnival. Her only decent performance this time is when she dropped back in grade and ran second at Ruakaka. She does a similar thing here. $2.70 trading currently on option 402 off a peak of $2.90 this morning. We've accepted a $2,000 bet at the $2.90 line. That's why she's come in just fractionally to $2.70. A little bit of speaking round number 4, Bring to the Block, who does have course form at Trentham on an off track. $5 off a peak of $7 yesterday afternoon. Outside that, it's a little bit friendless. So at this stage, Contessa Vanessa looks set to start favourite in what is a competitive field, even though only 5 go around.
It sure is. Number 2, Contessa Vanessa as the favourite. But Bevan, we heard earlier Matt Cameron talking about Lady Nadal. She's a horse in form, and Contessa Vanessa is out of form. Does that count for something?
I'm not so sure it does, Emily. I was actually a little bit surprised with this market when the bookmakers put it out with Lady Nadal, $3.50, dual favourite. Like the race at Waverley only had the 4 contestants, so I thought this was a major step up. Let's first and foremost look at Awatani. Now, this horse was good enough to beat Gifted Power fresh up at Hastings, and in this particular race, he got back behind Rock My Soul, who's a pretty smart sort of horse, and he markedly ran the quickest last 600 in this particular race. I know it's only a small field, but I did see reasonable sort of tempo in this race. I know he carries the 59, but he's got the ability, Awatani, so I was surprised he wasn't much closer to Lady Nadal. And we'll show you this performance of Lady Nadal now. You can make your own minds up. This is a small field. Petit Anjou is a nice animal, and the form prior to this behind Bevan Street is strong enough. So there is good, strong ability there, and this horse quickens up nicely on this occasion. Was posied up nicely by Matt Cameron and was really strong to the line. That's an 82 race, I know, but not an overly strong one in a very limited sort of field with only the 4 runners. This is certainly a step up in grade from that particular race. So I was just that slight bit surprised that it came up 350. I thought it deserved a bit longer, but the bookmakers and Stephen and his team are really wrong. I went with Contessa Vanessa on top. I thought her trial was very, very good in behind Melody Bell. She really wanted to be there and find the line. She had a couple of runs in the best of company through the carnival at Hastings. I know the record isn't quite there at the trip over the 1,300 metres, but it's a unique sort of distance, isn't it? I think she'll be right in the mix of 2. Lucy and Rio, I put Lucy and Rio, and I thought these track conditions were going to be that little bit wetter. She does have very good form lines, Indecision, Rock and Affair, 2 nice horses, and she's been close up and behind them, and I thought she was there for a long way behind Bazoo Bazoo. Awatani in for 3rd, Bring to the Block in for 4th, and I've left the favourite out in my selections in race number 2.
Thanks, Bevan. Let's get you along to the 3rd on the programme over the 2,500 metres, the Fast Track Insurance Chalmers Handicap. And it does feature another small field, but competitive. Red Cloud, 3s at $2.90. Red Cloud is a last start winner, Stephen, so is High Quality. But there's a very strong middle market here with the small field.
You wouldn't be wanting to rule out any runner here. The fact that they can all handle a bit of given the track, Emily, from basic, from your hot favourite and Red Cloud all the way down to Finn, they can all handle or have some form lines previously on their runs on slow and / heavy track conditions. So look, Red Cloud went up favourite during the week at a $2.80 line, just eased ever so slightly to $3. Is the best back runner, just in front of Obrigado at $3.60. High Quality $4.40, off a shortener of $4.20. A little bit of specking for Sylvester, even with a top weight at 6.5. Animator, $8.50, just in a turn to $8, so not friendless. And never is Finn, the outsider, at 12. So hard to give a decent lead thus far. The fact that there's just a lack of turnover in this particular race, so it might be one just to watch as we progress towards the early part of the afternoon. But at this stage, Red Cloud looks set to start favourite in an even contest.
Thanks, Stephen. Bevan, punters obviously being a little bit cautious with this 3rd on the card. Are you being cautious yourself, or did you perhaps have a lead into something in this next one?
I think this is a race to be cautious in, and it's dictated to by that lack of tempo. I know it is over the 2,500 metres, but really do see them walking in this particular race. Good form field though. Sylvester in behind High Quality last time, unlucky, as was Obrigado. And the Red Cloud performance at Awapuni is actually a race that's got a fair bit of form in it, with Shared Secrets coming out of that particular race and High Quality out of it. So he's a nice developing star who Fraser's got an eye on, that Dunstan Stars up at Ellerslie. Here is the win by High Quality. He's always been a horse with a heck of a lot of promise. Now just watch for Sylvester and Obrigado. Obrigado in the Breslin colours, Sylvester in the Sylvia Gay colours. They're just that little bit unlucky. He's got clear air and he's often gone. Sylvester's finding nicely. Obrigado's a little bit unlucky. So although High Quality wins, I think the performances of the 2nd and 3rd horses are on a par. High Quality has to carry the 2.5 teams claiming, so it's only going to get down to the 54.5. He carried 54.5 at his most recent start. So I think he's got challenges here, but he's got a bit of an ability. And here is Red Cloud. Now, he sat back last on this occasion, the gelding by postponed. He's got a big, long stride on him, this horse, and that should be suited right down to the ground here to Trentham Gardens. He'll handle the off-track conditions. He gets to the outside. See Jonathan there just getting a little bit tangled up with the whip, but he just lets him roll home. I think 2,500 metres is right up his alley. You see Shared Secrets towards the inside. You've also got High Quality back in the field there with the shadow roll. So this is a really good form race. And all this horse does is stay, and stays beautifully to the line. Big, long stride of him. I think you'll love Trentham. He's on top for me, Red Cloud. Over the 2 High Quality. Sylvester's in the mix. And Obrigado, again, was unlucky. Animator's an interesting runner. This horse is talented, but a little bit erratic. I mark them 4, 2, 1 and 3 in race number 3 on our afternoon.
Thanks, Bevan. The feature of one of the features on the card, I should say, comes next. It is the 2-year-old event, the Wakefield Challenge Stakes, the Anuka Smoker Wakefield Challenge Stakes. Aotea Lad at 261, 12, 260 and 2s for Opie Boston as the favourite. Stephen, when has this move come? Has the Aotea Lad been well supported the whole way, or is that just sort of this morning?
Plenty of market support as soon as betting commenced, Emily, which from memory was Wednesday afternoon around the 1 Aotea Lad. Now holds that top line of betting with the scratching of a Appellant who came out yesterday afternoon, Friday afternoon, unfortunately with high high temperature around Appellant, so he'll keep for another day. But in this particular market, it's a strong lead around the 1 Aotea Lad. Gee, they just keep producing the juveniles, don't they, Tiaukau this time in, and they've got another smart one here by Zavabeels, tried up well on rain affected going, $2.60. You see it mirrors the totalizer there. Just with a tick under 4K in the pool, but in current final field markets holds 3 times more money than the second best bat runner in Aretha, the other first starter. Cinzento and She's a Lady now, they have the race day form. They haven't been friendless, but they've held their own in terms of betting here, 550, 650 respectively. And then Killen, Miss Sweet Pea and Easy Rider cannot write a ticket for those 3 runners at this stage. But look, a little bit could play out here, but currently the best lead, and it's a clear lead, number 1, Aotea Lad, $2.60, best backed in the Group 2 feature.
Thanks, Stephen. Bevan, as we get to you, it's always hard to assess these 2-year-old races, isn't it? Obviously, there's not really a whole lot of exposed form, but what did you like from the trials? What were you thinking would perhaps be the one to back?
Well, I think there was clearly 2 very strong trials in this particular race. Aotea Lad, and further down the book at the filly by Charm Spirit, Aretha. Money talks though, Emily, especially from that stable, so clearly there's a fair bit of support for Aotea Lad. Let's have a look at its trial. This was at Matamata on the 27th of November, sat back, came to the outside, put them away nicely under Opie. He's down to ride here this afternoon. It's a quality performance on off-track conditions, so that gives you a little bit of confidence. The money's on, so that only gives you further confidence. The draw, if it's going to get well back, it does have a big long straight to get into the race. The crossing will be interesting, so I'm interested to see exactly where Opie's going to posse this horse up, but it really did quicken nicely and got to the line very, very nicely. They paid $200,000 at the sales for it out of Corsage, who was the joint 2-year-old filly of 08-09 in the free handicap. Group 2 winner, placed in a Group 1, the Dam, so there's a lot of breeding there. Here's Easy Rider and Killen. Now, the Killen is described as the Schnitzel colt in this particular trial, and I'll take you back 2 trials. It was disappointing at Matamata, just fair on the off-track conditions. This on a good going, so maybe a concern on the track conditions, but the inside horse finds. Easy Rider to the centre of the track is actually quite good to the line, so you'd have to prefer Easy Rider a fraction. It has tried up okay on off-track conditions post this, but not sure either of those 2 are winning chances out of those 2 trials. And here is Aretha, the filly by Charm Spirit, for the Baker and Forsman team. Just sat right on speed on this occasion. Killen towards the inside, the Schnitzel colt is in this particular trial, and I thought, well, they were out to get it at about the 200 metre mark, but it found a really good kick under Matty and ran to the line nicely in 61.61 on off-track conditions, so it has to be a player. We're really going on trial form here. It's almost a $100,000 maiden race. I'm going to go with the 7 over the 1, but really you can back both horses and make a profit if that's the way you want to look at it. I thought race day form is always really important, so She's a Lady for Richard Jewell I put in the mix. But they paid $340,000 for the colt by Schnitzel Killen. So they must have liked something, and one of the best judges in the land, Bruce Perry, purchased this horse for the Stephen Marsh barn. Jason Waddell in the saddle. The trial 2 ago was good enough. The most recent one on off-track conditions disappointing, but I'm just going to take the man that bought the horse as a very, very accurate judge and put that in for fourth. 7, 1, 5 and 2 in the first of our features, the Anuka Smoker Wakefield Challenge Stakes. Set to go, Emily, 2:30.
Thanks, Bevan. That was a preview of the first 4 races from Trentham. We'll be back with Bevan for that race 1 on the card in just a couple of minutes. For now, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Chris Gibbs on the line to talk about his Group 1 charge, Dance, Dance, Dance.
It's like I just can't miss. I was made for this.
The Punters Lounge on your Saturday of racing. It is Group 1 Captain Cook Stakes Day, and as promised, Chris Gibbs is on the phone. He's got a leading chance in the race in Dance, Dance, Dance. Chris, we'll say a very good afternoon to you. I understand you've got a little bit of a carload there. How's it going?
Good, thanks, Emily. They just giving me a bit of grief because we were nearly going to go into the tunnel, so I don't know if I'm going to lose you or not, but we'll see how we go.
Well, we better get straight into it. Dance, Dance, Dance is obviously your charge in the Group 1. And how has she been? Last time we saw her was obviously on the last day of Hawke's Bay. How has she come through that run? What have you been doing with her since?
Very, very happy with her, Emily. She, as you know, we took a plan in place for the liver mole, and that nearly come off. It was a brilliant run. I was very happy with her. And then we looked at what our options were, and we just thought we'd freshen her and set her for this. We weren't expecting the soft track, but anyway, that is what it is.
What do you think about the soft track conditions? Are you comfortable with them, or do you think that's going to affect her? What are your thoughts?
I must admit, I'm a little bit concerned, only because of I think she'd handle it, but I must be a bit wary about the season, the sort of fitness as far as, you'd like to probably have a run under your belt, but I think she'll handle it well. It's just whether she's going to have that strength at the end of it, that's all.
And what about the 1,600 metres? Obviously, we saw her in the Livermore over the 2,000. Do you think this 1,600 metres fresh will be suited?
Yeah, I do, actually. I think it should be well suited. She ran brilliantly I know it's going back a while, in the Karaka mile as a 3-year-old. She's won over 1,400. I know a lot less a company, but I have no problems at all with the mile. I think she'll run the mile out beautifully and be sharp over it as well. So no, the distance doesn't worry me at all.
And Opie Bosson rides her for the first time. And what are going to be your instructions to him today?
Well, look, you know what Opie's like Emily is. Of course, you know better than we do. I think you don't have to tell him anything at all. I just, we'll just be giving a few little things about the mare, any little habits and bits and pieces that he might want to know. But there's not much. She's not very complicated. She's pretty good ride. The big thing would be that she doesn't over race. But she went into the 2,000, and I thought that was a little concern, and she just went across and dropped a bit. I think it'll just be how she jumps, and I suppose I don't really want to get to the fence, but I want to be one off, and if anyone can do it, I know Opie can slot her in. So she's got a nice draw.
We'll just tell him to be the first over the line. That'll be the only instructions. Yeah,
that's it. You don't need to tell those champion jockeys anything, so he'll do the job.
Oh, let's move along to the Bone Crushers Stakes. Obviously, we head all the way back up north to Ellerslie, and you've got a nice chance in that in Quizmaster. Aidan Rodley was very keen on it yesterday on the first call. What are your thoughts on Quizmaster in the Bone Crushers Stakes?
Oh, it's a tough ask, I guess. He actually had a little niggly foot problem. That's the only reason you haven't seen him in between the Tirapa race. I thought his run at Tirapa was extremely good. He just got too far back off a front-running pace. They never really, just didn't run on at all. Oh, got a policeman coming out. It's not after me. Hang on.
This will be the first Punters Lounge
there you go.
arrest.
Live action. No. Look, I'm really happy with the horse. I think that he'll run a very good race today. His work's been super, and I actually wasn't even too concerned if the track was worse, but it looks like it's going to come back to a lovely track that'll suit everybody. So I'm quite bullish about his chances. I think he's got a lovely draw as well. So yeah, I think he's well in it, and I would be surprised if he didn't at least weigh in. But I think he's a good chance to run a place anyways.
Absolutely, and it was a great run in the James and Annie Sarton Memorial Stakes as well. You must have been pretty happy with that.
Yeah, we were. I mean, we've kept him to the 1400 purely because of the gap between runs, and he can be a little bit fierce in his races. So we'd like to think he's going to get up over ground, but there was this race just fell in beautifully, and we did have him in, as you know, at Counties the other day. But actually, the 65 that he was in was probably just of equal strength. So we had a chat about it and decided to put him in against his own age group. So here we are, and I think he'll run well.
Well, thanks so much, Chris, for joining us this morning or this afternoon, and best of luck in the Group 1, and hope you make it to Trentham safely.
Thanks very much. I'll be more worried about the two in here than the traffic around me, I think. So we'll be right. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you. So Chris Gibbs just having a chat about his contenders today. You saw his book of runners up on screen there at Ellerslie, and also, of course, just the one at Trentham. Back to Stephen we go, Stephen Hunt. And what can you tell us this time round, Stephen?
We're just talking about Chris Gibbs' chances, obviously kicking off in the Group 1, the Captain Cook Stakes, Dance, Dance, Dance. $3.80 we posted when betting commenced on Wednesday. She's been very solid at that line. The fact is, John Snow, with the weight of money that continues to flow for him, he looks set to start favourite. And a key indication from what I'm seeing, which punters don't, are multis in progress. And it's around about 2 times more multis in progress on John Snow than what is on the mare Dance, Dance, Dance at $3.80. So just not sure where that price is going to end up on John Snow at 3.8. Whether it starts a little bit shorter and Dance, Dance, Dance holds that line at 3.8 remains to be seen. But at this stage, they sit at the top line between them, 3.8. Just looking at his HQ runners, Chris's, Boogie Easy, well respected at $3.80 in the first. Ricky Tiki Tavi back to Ellerslie is a key runner. Emily, this horse has gone to Ellerslie three times at this distance over 1,200 metres and has had 3 wins. So it's unbeaten at Ellerslie over 1,200 metres, Ricky Tiki Tavi. So punters snapped up the $13 that was on offer during the week, now travelling at a $10 price, Ricky Tiki Tavi. Quizmaster, $17 was its peak price during the week, now trading at $16. And Rockabye Baby later in the program at HQ has been quite friendless, 15 out to 17. So all in all, the best back out of that particular stable, the Gibbs Bradley, has to be Dance, Dance, Dance in the Group 1 feature.
Thanks, Stephen. We'll be back with you a little bit later on. For now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back into live racing, we've got the first coming from Trentham.
You're gonna find out. You can't
Trout's just in behind them, and then Integrate sent home. He's angled into the clear with Seeking as they race down to the 300 metres, and it's still Hero. O'Malley's boy Rua, Kiwi Lad. Integrate is coming after them strongly, and sent home in the centre, starting to roll home, but still Hero. Hero with 150 to go. Integrate and out wide, sent home, starting to warm up the last little bit. Hero sent home's after him. Oh, what a great horse! Sent home's got up to win it. Sent home's won from Hero. Third is close, Integrate Batavian, and then Rua, Kiwi Lad.
What a fantastic performance that was in the Captain Cook Stakes. Let's hope we see something similar to that this afternoon. Let's get you straight off to our next of the day, and it is the 5th that we're going to be previewing here from Trentham. Here's a look at the market. Lucetta is at 460, 175, 560 and 180. Matt Cameron rides. Stephen, Matt spoke well of this horse earlier in the day, Lucetta, but it is a loose favourite.
Pretty competitive market option, 405 over the 2-4. Emily, headed by Lucetta, $4.60. Pretty solid in that top line of betting, but almost a default fave when we were pricing this particular meeting or this particular race during the week. In front of Diamond Belt at $5, again solid in that second line of betting. Johnny Lincoln for the Lisa Ladder stable at $6.50, fits in that third line of betting. The best lead and best back runner is number 5, Red Rascal, Emily. $7.50 in that fourth line of betting off a peak of $9, and that includes a $1,000 bet at the $9 price. So ever consistent Red Rascal without winning too many. I think 3 wins from about 30 odd starts around this individual, but Lisa Allpress does the riding here to get none better than her. So best lead in a competitive race, Red Rascal at a $7.50 quote.
Bevan, can we make a case for Red Rascal off the back of that money, or all about something else?
Well, I've been making a case for Red Rascal for about 2 months, Emily, and just runs into traffic problems, and he over-raced one day here at Trentham and sort of took himself out of the race. He can win, but there's about 6 or 7, I think, that can win this particular race. I've got a lot of time for a horse called Constant Barrage here for Jeff Haig. I think he's the match of high quality, maybe even a better horse than high quality. I think his quote is very attractive. He flew home over the 1,600 metres the last time with the 1,550. Johnny Lincoln is a real staying type of horse. You've got Diamond Belt, who I think is a great chance in this particular race as well. Let's have a look at Constant Barrage. Now, this over the 1,550. He's a horse like high quality. I've just been prepared to wait 18 months, 2 years before really getting serious with him. This is the race taken out by Miss Doherty. Now, just watch the horse come to the outside. Now, they rode him back. He still showed a little bit of greenness. He just wanted to hang in behind the runner just in front of him. But just watch the last bit of his work here. I think he's a stayer all day, this particular horse. And I know he's first time 2,400 metres from the 1,550, and he may improve out of this, but he's a horse I've been following for a long period of time, and I think he'll love these track conditions here this afternoon. So I'm going to have him as some value, and he's part of my betting strategy on the afternoon. Here's Johnny. Watch Starry Beale. Best bet for the Marsh team, I think, up north today. And Johnny's a big horse, and he'll love the 2,400 metres. He'll stay all day. Red Rascal got back this day and boomed home nicely enough. But, yeah, Johnny looked home at this point, and then Starry Beale comes out and goes ping. That's a lovely performance by the winner, but a good performance from Johnny as well. Red Rascal made up some good ground, but just as things go against him on so many occasions, capable enough. I'm going to go with value, Constant Barrage. Over the 6, Lucetta, who I thought very good, winning its most recent start. Johnny Lincoln's in the mix, and the 1, Diamond Belt. A couple of kilos off there. Chased home a nice horse in Victitious last time. In my betting strategy, I'm going to back both of those horses, Diamond Belt and Constant Barrage, $25 on both of those. I think we'll make a profit there in race number 5 on the afternoon.
Thanks, Bevan. Let's get you along to the 6th on the card from Trentham, and it does attract quite a big field here with a number of starters. Portland Jimmy being the best backed at 3s, 125, 410 and 160. Stephen, as we get to you, Jonathan Park's already off to a winning start. He's got a good book of rides. How do you rate Portland Jimmy in the 6th?
Has to be a leading chance. I know the stable rate Portland Jimmy. Just questionable about on the slow 8 track conditions. The fact that when we've priced up Portland Jimmy early this preparation, they have withdrawn this horse on the back of rain affected tracks until they made a debut first up performance at Waverley, which was on a far better track than what it's going to face later on this afternoon. So a $3 price tag with some key scratchings coming out during the week on Portland Jimmy. Again, not friendless, but they are speaking a fair few in this particular race over the 1,400 metres. Emily, Ozil on that second line of betting, well supported at $4.20. Scarloey at $5.50. Always respect the unbeaten galloper, even though it's only had the 1 start for 1 win. It was also unbeaten at the trials, number 3, with Sam Spratt doing the riding. Artis in that 4th line of betting has the wet track credentials at $7 off a peak of $6.50. But again, that's not friendless. It's just to tighten up the overall percentage in this particular market. And also speaking a few here at double figures, Platinum Wildcard 12 into 10, Tipperary Mary, who appreciate the slow 8 track conditions, 18 into 15, and also Mick Genie third up, could be an improver, 46 into 35. So yep, they are prepared to just back a few against Portland Jimmy at a $3 price. So early indications that price might be a little bit short, but that's what the punters are telling me.
Bevan, Portland Jimmy maps pretty well in the speed map. I notice you've got a number of replays to look at here. Is that sort of maybe an indication that you're split between a few runners?
Well, I think there's talent in here, Emily. I really do. Portland Jimmy, I've got massive concerns around the track conditions here this afternoon. He's a free-going horse who I think would have liked a lot better track conditions. You've got a horse like Scarloey, who is really good at Ocheki. I think okay in these track conditions. Ozil's back into a grade where he should be very, very competitive. And here he is at his most recent performance behind Lady Cartel. Now, if you remember way back when, I think Mick mentioned it on the first call yesterday, 12 months ago or so, he was beating Gifted Power at Awapuni from last. He won that 2-year-old race at Wairoa, where all sorts of form came out of it. He's a horse that Mike's struggled to keep a lot of condition on, so he has to be pretty careful with him, but this just suggests that he's not far away back to his best. He comes back into a rating 65. Thought he was a pretty strong sort of bet, although the 60 kilos is a slight concern to me. Here's Portland Jimmy. Now, this is the performance at Waverley. Now, make no mistake, He's probably a little bit over the top on this occasion because he'd missed a run at Otaki when the races were called off. He missed a run at Awapuni when they were ready to go when it was too wet. And so he'd been sitting there and waiting. He got to Waverley on a warm day, a good 2, and he blew to pieces. He is a good horse. I've got big concerns around the track conditions with him. And overnight, I changed my mind not to have him in 4. If it was a good 3, I'd have him on top. These track conditions really do consume me with him this afternoon. And here's Scarlowy. Now, this is a performance because he missed away this day. Jonathan had to hunt him up. He stole a couple of runs towards the inside, and then he got them to the centre of the track. I'm not sure how strong the form line is in this race, but he really rounded them up late, and on the back of a couple of trials where he was very, very good. I like him a bit. I'm going to follow him. I think he's a really progressive horse, this Sam. Spratt rides for Colin Cromedy today. He's got that big, long, open, wide straight to wind up, and he's got a bit of attitude. You see him really trying near the line, and he was soft late, and he's brave. So he's going to go on top for mine. Over Odzul, I've got a bit of time for one right down the bottom of the book. I think you get some value around the 14 Tipperary Mary, who was good through one day at the Carnival. I thought had no luck last time, and is a horse that I think can win this race. And then I'm also towards the bottom of the book with, in fact, the 11 comes out, Satin Belt. So I'll be with the 6 Lincoln Hills. He's another upsetter in the race. Saw this all too hard horse win at Tauhera Nekio. He had a bit about him that day. Honestly, I think they've had some issues with him, but he's much better than his form reads. I'll go 3, 1, 14 and 6 in race number 6.
Thanks, Bevan. Let's get you along to the 7th. It is the Milan Park Premier Race 7 over 1,600 metres. Pont Alma is the favourite. Pont Alma, 360 and 570. What's the interest been like on this horse, the number 11 in the market?
There is some support, Emily, but again, they're speaking around this particular runner, as well as Lodi. Lodi's been a notable drifter, probably unpredicted from us here in HQ. Lodi, $4.80 out to $6 on a horse that does tick a slow 8 box, Lodi. So for whatever reasoning, that is friendless in the market and betting Lodi. At $6 price, you see there the totalizer at $11. Pont Alma $3.60, like I mentioned, pretty solid, but again, they're looking to shop a few here. Collins Street in that third line of betting, $7. We've accepted a $700 bet at that price. Nirvana and Fearless, now a couple of maideners going up against race winners here, being the special conditions race. They've been notable shorteners. Nirvana $8 off a peak of 10, and Fearless $9 off a peak of $12.50. Both of them attracting a number of $100, $200, $300 bets, and a little bit of specking around number 12. Rely on me. So, yep, there's about 4 or 5 they're looking to spec in what normally is a difficult race to assess the special conditions.
Bevan, as we get along to you, another big field we've got here. Collins Street is one of 4 horses that have won last time, and I know you can make a bit of a case for it in this 7th.
Yeah, you can, Emily. This is the money-making race going forward over the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's got good quality. This is Collins Street. He was unlucky the prior 2 runs, and then on this occasion at New Plymouth, he just canted up and put them away like they were standing still. He did run a very good last 600 metres on this occasion, so he's got a lot of ability as a race winner, and he really stretches out. He's a horse that you need to follow out of this particular race going forward as well, but I think there's a hatful. Nirvana's another one for Jamie Lee Lupton. Now, this horse has been beaten by a couple of really nice horses. Ignored for the Baker and Forsman team, beat it 2 starts ago, and they put the blinkers on. It got just done on the line, and this is Austria, who had been unlucky, not this day. You see Nirvana coming through in the gap in between the rail horse and the 3-out horse, and Austria gets right to the outside and just gets Nirvana. He's a bit of a dummy, Nirvana, but he'll be on speed, and Jonathan Park's aboard. You'd have to think that Nirvana's a chance from an awkward sort of gate. And Pont Alma is the horse that comes out of that very good form race at Te Rapa and then goes to Te Araha, and it was all over a long way from home here in the hands of Opie Boston, and he keeps the ride here this afternoon. The form into that Rhinestone Cowboy race was outstanding. It was well backed on this day, back on the 13th at Te Araha, and it really gave you no heart flutters in the run to the line. Opie was just winding this horse up as it got to the line. It's got a gate to use this afternoon. 56 kilos is no major impost, so it's going to be on top for me, the 11. Over the 1 Collins Street, I think he's a big player in the race. The 4 Nirvana, and then I've looked towards the 12 Rely on Me. Go back if you get the chance before this race runs and watch that horse's performance at Waverley. I thought the $5 around Rely on Me was quite a nice little bet, Emily, in race number 7.
Thanks, Bevan. The feature is next. That's the 8th on the card from Trentham. It is the Group 1 Captain Cook Stakes. John Snow, 350, 155, 410 and 210. Stephen, that's a significant move. We saw Dance favourite earlier on and then joint favouritism, but now John Snow clearly ahead.
Yeah, that's just happened in the last 5 to 10 minutes around John Snow, Emily. $3.80 equal favourite with Dance. It's now sitting at the top line by himself, John Snow, at $3.50. A number of four-figure bets. He is the best back runner at Trentham over the 9-race program, which I mentioned at the top of the show. Dance is still solid in that second line of betting at $3.80, including a $4,000 bet at the $4 price. Darscape Princess Friendless, $6.50 trading off a shortener of $4.80. Ocean Emperor, bit of a move here in one full point, $9.50, now trading at 8.5. Now, our Aberdeen came in for some significant betting as soon as we opened on Wednesday afternoon, including an $800 bet and a $500 bet at 17. So you now see the mare trading at $10. So a decent move in that middle market. But overall, the best back runner has been the Class Galloper wearing the number 1 saddlecloth, John Snow.
And Bevan, as we get along to you for the Captain Cook Stakes, it is the one that we're looking forward to today. Where is your heart lying with regards to the field? Who do you want to see win?
Well, I hope John Snow wins because he's the quality horse in the race who's got weight for age form and form in behind Winks. Now, this is the trial recently. Now, this pricked a lot of people's ears up, and I know they're quite confident in the north on John Snow. You also see our Aberdeen, who I think is a major player in the race as well, but he's got a bit of quality. We know his abilities. He's a top-class galloper. Our Aberdeen chases him home, but this really pricked my ears up on John Snow. Our Aberdeen, I think this horse is flying. She is just surprising us race on race, really, so I think it really has to be in the mix. Here's Ocean Emperor. This is the last start performance at Tauranga. Now, Ocean Emperor, Darscape Princess both run identical sectionals home. Darscape Princess, more of a 2,000 metre horse, and she does need good ground, so she would have been in my first 4, possibly as my second selection if it had been a good 3 this afternoon, but I'm very concerned around the track conditions for her. She does like to ping off good ground, but he shows a good turn of foot to Ocean Emperor, and he has been very, very capable on the rain-affected track conditions, so he has to be right in the mix. His draw's a little bit awkward, the 11 here this afternoon. Dark Princess is one of the up-and-comers in this particular race. She got wet track conditions this day in good company here at Trentham. You see Authentic Paddy on speed, and you'll also pick up Dolcetto. Dolcetto actually in the Sylvia K colours, 3 out, not back towards the inside. And look, there's a big swing in the weights back towards Dolcetto out of this particular performance. So I did prefer Dolcetto this afternoon over Dark Princess, but there's nothing to say that Dark Princess can't win with what she has been doing this preparation. Raw Impulse runs second. It was a little bit disappointing in the Wanganui Cup recently. And the other one to show you is clearly Dance, or Dance. She's a quality horse. They put her in this race without an extra run under her belt, and gee, she was unlucky. Just took that little moment to clear some air, and once she did, she really, really flew. Look, 1,600 metres, I think that suits her nice. If you go back through her career, she's been in some good, nice, strong races and really, really competitive. She may be the big upsetter in this particular race and the real progressive horse coming out of it. She's been lightly handled by the Gibbs team, and I expect her to run a really good race here this afternoon. I am going to be with the senior horse, that being John Snow, at weight for age conditions. Got a lot of time for Dolcetto this afternoon. I thought you got an overs price early there, and still at this present moment, Dance is certainly in for third, and then outside of that, I thought our Aberdeen had to be in the mix as well. I left out the 2 girls down towards the bottom of the book here, Emily, but they could just be the surprises in this particular race.
They sure could. You're right there. Let's get along to the final race on the card before we get to race 2 at Trentham. It is the 9th, meeting code of 4. Lincoln Raider, 421.70, 672.90. Stephen, what's this market telling us, apart from really looks like just interest on the 4?
Cracking betting race, and that's what I'm seeing with a flow of money on a number of runners, Emily. Headed by number 4, Lincoln Raider, $4.50 into $4.20. Well supported, the Lisa Ladder galloper. De Gaulle well supported during the week, 11.50 into 8. I'll be hoping this horse actually wins, Emily. A couple of owners here, work colleagues, Grant Nisbet and Paul Moati, have a share in this horse, and if it does the business, we'll be getting a lunch shout next week. But back onto the market, Wafer well supported, also on that second line of betting at $8. Get Sharota, I think Des Coppins tipped this individual out this morning. Currently a heavy liability on Get Sharota, 11.50 into 11. Neeson well supported, a $500 bet on Neeson, and Rock on Eve shares that same line of $14 with Neeson, also a $500 bet on that particular runner. So there's 4 or 5 they're well specking in this particular race, but Lincoln Raider heads the market, $4.20 top line fave.
What about for you, Bevan? What are you thinking of doing in the 9th, the Go Racing Premier?
Oh, I love Lincoln Raider. I think he's a very, very smart horse. I didn't think he had any chance with his run last start, but he still managed to fly home. So he's going to be my bet of the day. I did have De Gaulle on top of him, but I'm going to flip that round and say with the improving track conditions, he will win the 4 in the book. Here's De Gaulle. I think every tick of the clock on this track dries out. Aidan did speak to Jonathan after the first. He thought it was slow 8 verging on slow 7, so maybe just continuing to improve, and that probably plays against De Gaulle. But the Jeff Lynns and Matthew Cameron combination are very, very hard to beat when they get together. Mauna Kea in front of it goes around in the Group 1 here this afternoon, so the form lines are good. And here's quickly Lincoln Raider before we have a look at the horses in the parade for race number 2 here at Trentham. He was amazing here 2 starts ago when winning, and then he went to Awapuni, got shuffled back, he got into traffic problems, as you're about to see. But just look at the last bit of his work. He is pretty sharp now. I know Aidan thought he was a group horse in waiting on the first call yesterday, and I'm not going to disagree. I think this is a very, very progressive horse. What sort of group level he gets to, I'm not sure, but I think he'll find a spot in one of those big races at some point. So I'm going to change my selections there and have Lincoln Raider on top over De Gaulle. I think this track is drying too quickly for him. 10 Jessie G's an interesting runner in the race. She's at the right place in her preparation to run a race this afternoon. And my favourite horse around the trap's the Ripper, the Gunslinger. Forgive his last start run, he does have a good chance in the last on the program. So here's a quick strategy for you. I'm going to put 50 to win Lincoln Raider late on in the program. I'm going to have 25 to win in the same race on Diamond Belt and Constant Barrage. My best bet on the program is Lincoln Raider. My value bet is Rely on Me in race number 7 at a big quote. Here is the market for race number 2 on the afternoon. Just a small field go around here, and it's headed up by Awatane. They are going to head out for the prelim, so we'll get Tony's thoughts around behind the gates. He will take them down with Andre on course with Christmas at the races, and nice crowd here this afternoon for sure. He ran a really good sectional late, Awatani. He was the best on the day there at Awapuni and behind Rock My Soul. He'll sit back. Is there enough speed? Not sure. But we saw at Hastings when he got that run into the race, he just blew them off the racetrack, beating Gifted Power. He wasn't far away behind Rockin' Affair, who's come out and been placed in a black top sprint race at Otaki last week. So, Aidan, it was an interesting race. Small fields, gets tricky, but I thought there was just enough speed in this race to be sure that they'll run at good tempo.
Well, we've had Blonde Line come out, who was probably the likely leader in the race. So I thought they probably left it for Contessa Vanessa. We know she can go forward. She's been undone in those weight for age races by just the wrong tempo, but gee, she was good in the trials and behind Melody Bell, and she did lead or was right on speed, right alongside Dan's 3 starts back, and that horse is favourite in the Captain Cook.
Lucy and Rio. Look, her form is outside of winning this particular race. She was close up and behind Bazoo. She's got form behind Rockin' Affair, Indecision. She loves it here at the track.
Yeah, she's only battling last time out. Just that gear change of the side winkers coming off. The blinkers go on for the very first time with a mare who they did take to Melbourne last spring. Is she in foal? Wonder if she is in foal here.
I'm not sure. I will ask when I see.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that as well. Just a battling run last time. I think she needs to improve a little bit.
Awatane. Gee, we won't forget the run at Hastings, and sectionally very good last start.
Yeah, really good. Back in grade for this as well. Jonathan Parks, he's had a good look at that track in the first race. Geez, wasn't Lincoln Falls really, really impressive, and it was a lovely ride too from Jonathan. He's in the zone, no doubt about that, and he's got a decent ride here on Awatani too. Okay, I'm going to ask you the question later, Nadal. I didn't really mark it at 3.5. I said that this morning. Am I wrong? not so sure. Matt Cameron really likes this horse. It was a really good tactical ride from Matthew Cameron last time out at Waverley, and to get the prize there. This horse was fourth in the Mufasa, third in the Mufasa Stakes, fourth in the Mongolian's Khan, so this sort of form should stack up okay here. It is a bit of an acid test, though, isn't it?
Bring to the block. I think you just forgive that last start run on those good track conditions and go with her record here, which is very, very strong. Aidan is going to catch up with an interview as we lead into race number 2 on the program, and I might take the opportunity with Aidan just finding his interview subject to head upstairs to T. Lee. Just a small field here, Tone, race number 2 on the program, but a fair bit of horse flesh to look at.
Yeah, for sure, and look, tactics always vital in these type of races, isn't it? You've got the 2 or 3 riders at the top of the premiership competing here. Bukawa Tane for Jonathan Parks looked really well. The horses had the 3 runs back in this time in, hit the line strongly at Awapuni last time out over the 1200 metres, has had good success on this track, and of course has Jonathan Parks in the saddle after scoring in the first of the day.
Thank you for that, Tony. Aidan, bring to the block. We know the quality around this mare.
Yeah, we just want to know what happened last time in the Canterbury Breeders' Stakes. Shane, any excuse?
No, not really. Look, she drew Barry 1 and she played up in the gates and she sort of got back locked up on the inside, and she can be a bit of a quirky mare. She's sort of a mare that likes a bit of room, a bit of galloping room. So, yeah, that's all we could really put it down to.
Yeah, you bring her back to Trentham. She's a winner here 2 starts back, and her course record's outstanding. What makes Trentham such her course?
Oh, I think because it's such a big roomy track, and she can, find a feed early and ride her a bit patient and just sort of balance her up and let her get home,
Yeah, she looks in great order. What sort of confidence are you bringing here today in?
Yeah, look, I'm really happy with her. It all depends on the tempo of the race, Aidan, for a mare like her, and probably with the scratching, I was actually a bit disappointed to see that. But if they can run along at a reasonable pace, and just give her a chance to get home, she'll be thereabouts.
Okay, one other runner, Delamosa, in the special conditions race later on. What sort of push can you give us for that horse?
Yeah, nice mare, been working very well. I just had a bit of a query over the track with her, but it doesn't look too bad, and if it keeps improving, it'll probably improve her chances.
Best luck with them both, Shane.
Thank you.
Aidan, we missed your interview after the first on the program. Just Jonathan's thoughts on the track condition?
Yeah, he said a slow sort of 7-8 was his thoughts on it. He was obviously very taken by Lincoln Falls. Said the horse settled. He was really happy with the way he settled on a slow pace. Said the step up in distance is only going to be his friend. But, he was quite complimentary about the way the track played.
Okay, this is a small race, so how do we see the tempo? Lucien Rio has the opportunity to go forward. You've got Contessa Vanessa, an on-speed runner, and Matt May just posse up Lady Nadal.
I kind of agree with Shane, and obviously he was saying, with Blonde Line coming out, it just takes a little bit of that tempo out of the race. The last one, obviously, that's where they all sort of finished. First 2 in running and finished 2nd and 3rd behind the Hot Pot, who did settle 3rd. So I think it really does favour Contessa Vanessa. She'll go forward. She's very, very good quality horse. Her only previous run at this track was a 2nd placing behind Savvy Cope in a New Zealand Oaks. So she's high quality. She was very good for those races last year, and that trial in behind Melody Bell, I think that's just the icing that we needed to say she's going to be hard to bowl.
Yeah, I think what I took from the trial is that she was really trying late in that particular trial. She stuck her neck down, she pinned the ears back, she wanted to be in the competition.
I think that's the one thing that marked her last year, that she's such a willing racehorse, and she had to be, because she was really busy as a 3-year-old filly. She's come back into a couple of weight for age races after that really good Ruakaka run, but she looked in very good order on that trial, and she looks great here today too.
Okay, $2.90 around the 2. Now, we did have Blonde Line come out as a $5 shot, so there are natural deductions here. Good strong money for Contessa Vanessa. The 6 in the book, Lady Nadal was $3.50, now $3.40. So just drifting on it. Bring to the block was $7 before deductions, now $4.80. Good strong support there. Awatane is at $6. Not a lot of support there. And Lucy and Rio is the outsider at $7. 90 seconds away from start time. This will be the first leg of our quaddy with that bonus money in there as well. So that pool will really start to climb. You've got about 60 seconds if you want to be involved. We're a little bit light through the first part of the program, but when we get into the later part of the program, there are some really good, strong betting fields, A-Rod, and a couple of tricks in there. That quaddy pool sits at $41,000.
Yeah, that's for sure. And there is a little bit of a buzz sort of happening here at Trentham. It's a Group 1 day, and obviously the Christmas of the races seems obviously it has worked. It has got people along, but they've still got to find winners, and these tactical races they do make it a little bit tricky. But I think we can just go with those class horses. I'm happy to stick with Contessa Vanessa on top here.
Any day you come with confidence, this place turns around and kicks you in the dairy.
That's true.
Hey, I have to say, haven't seen a crowd for this day like this for a period of time. We had a massive day at Wanganui, that crowd incredible, and T Lee. We had Wanganui with a big crowd. I think this is building the same way. It's a great feel here.
Isn't it? Fantastic. It really is. There's Andre Nealon. Centre screen. Nice to have him out of focus, though. We love you, Andre. We do. All right, the last couple to come in now is the favourite, Contessa Vanessa, will be one of those at $2.80, $1.90, and Awatane, who shows 6 and 2.50. Second favourite, Lady Nadal, $3.40 and $1.80. Contessa Vanessa goes in. We're nearly ready. Ginny and Holmes Premier 1300. Tactics interesting here with the small numbers. Off. Bring to the block slow. Awatane went back as well. Lucian Rio's going to head straight to the lead here from on the outside of it. Then when they settle down as Lady Nadal, the inside Contessa Vanessa, a couple of lengths to Awatane. And bring to the block, who's just a little bit awkward there at the 1,000 metres, throwing the head around. And would like it speed to go on a little bit, but in front, Lucian Rio, and Rosie Myers says, well, I'll slow it down as much as I can here, and leads on Lucian Rio. The mare shows out by a length. Lady Nadal is second on the outside, and getting the gun run on the inside, Contessa Vanessa. The outside, Awatane's dropped the head nicely, but still Bring to the Block hasn't, as they gallop on down the side, coming up towards the home corner. 600 metres still to travel, and Lucian Rio does it nicely in front here. Lady Nadal's going up to put a bit more pressure on it. Contessa Vanessa's awaiting and out. The outside, Awatane, and Bring to the Block's now running truly as they get into the straight at the 400 metres here, and Lucian Rio found a nice kick here. Got a couple of lengths, Lady Nadal. Contessa Vanessa is now trying to slingshot them. Lucian Rio going pretty well, though. 150 metres out. Contessa Vanessa's going to try and reach it, but Rosie Myers and Lucian Rio have gone all of the way. Too good. Contessa Vanessa second, third, Lady Nadal close between Awatane and Bring to the Block. She downtrowed him, Rosie. Lucian Rio, $7.20, $3.20 for the place. Led, stacked them, and this underrated mare has found a wonderful kick around the home corner. Contessa Vanessa making good ground the last little bit, but the bird had flown. She's been there in some really nice races. Strongly built mare, and today she loved it out there. We gear change doing the trick, and a comfortable winner in the finish here, Sweens.
I thought she was a big chance here this afternoon. Trek firming maybe was concerned, but Rosie dominated that race. Nice ride. She got to the right position. She's kicked. Contessa Vanessa's just been held up for a couple of bounds at the top of the straight. Got clear, found the line nicely enough. The 6 Lady Nadal has set on speed. Couldn't quite go with the mare towards the inside, and Bring to the Block. And Awatane just didn't really quicken up from back in the race, but it's understandable when there's that sort of tempo in front. She's been in some big dances, Lucian Rio, and she's been very, very good. The winner is the 3. Well done to Kylie Little and J.R. Griffith. 2 Contessa Vanessa second, 6 Lady Nadal third, 1 Awatane fourth. 3, 2, 6, 1, 4. Bring to the Block is fifth. 3, 2, 6 and 1 will pick up the time over the 1,300 metres. It shouldn't be overly slick because they didn't go overly quick. 1:18, Rod? That's not too bad for the 1,300 metres, and Kylie is a winner.
Yeah, exactly. Not too bad. And it was a lovely ride from Rosie. It must have given you confidence the way she was stacking them up out in front.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said to Rosie, go out and give her a soft lead if you can and kick, and that's what she's done.
We've seen the blinkers go on for the first time. Why so long putting them on?
No, she has raced. She ran second in a Group 2 with them. We just took them off because she was over racing and stepped up to the 14 last time, and now we've dropped back to the 13, and we thought we'd put them on.
Obviously, you've thought a lot of this mare. You took her to Melbourne last spring, so today nice to just see that sort of coming to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like today was D-Day, like she had to show, or that was probably her, but yeah, it was nice to get that.
Is she in foal?
We'll know Monday, but I've got a funny feeling she's not, unfortunately.
Okay, well, that might not be a bad thing, the way she's racing.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you got any sort of targets in mind coming out?
Yeah, I'll probably look at setting her now for the Westbury Classic. How we'll get there, I don't know, but we'll have a look at through the program.
Good on you, Kylie. Well done.
Thank you.
Kylie Little with just a one runner here today, and it's a winning one as well. Lucian Rio, the 7-year-old mare by Captain Rio, out of Sound Reason mare Forever Tango, gets a win 3 today at start 28. Lovely ride too from Rosie Meyer. She's a Group 1 winning jockey here on the track at Trentham as well, and she's done a lovely job here, giving Lucien Rio a soft lead and just been able to show a really nice kick in the closing stages as well. And that has been the key to it. Rosie, you must have been giggling the lead that you did get out there.
Yeah, I sort of got it pretty soft. Only a small field, so I was able to sort of go slowly around the turn, and then she just increased really nicely.
Yeah, and still had to do the work though, didn't she? Still had to quicken, and she did.
Yeah, she did. It's the first time she's had blinkers on for a while, so I had that in the back of my mind. I didn't want anyone to hit us, and she fought very strongly.
Nice tactical ride from you. Just tell us about track conditions. How they're playing?
Yeah, the track's surprisingly quite good considering how much rain we've had around. So there's a nice big solar grass on it. It is a genuine slow track, but a lot better than I expected.
Ocean Emperor, you'll ride in the Group 1 later on. How are you feeling?
I'm really excited. He's a neat horse. His last 2 wins have been great, so I'm looking forward to getting out there.
Best of luck in that too.
Thank you.
Lucien Rio returns $7.20 and $3.20. Contessa Vanessa at $1.60. Smallfield, so no third divvy on the 6th. Quinnella's great. 2 and 3, $8.80. 326 returns you $59.60. 326 and 1 at $137.10. And an encouraging 118 for the 1,300 metres and change, run by the senior horses in race number 2 on the afternoon. We're taking a break here at TRB Trackside 1. Of course, there's twilight racing in Ellerslie this afternoon. Masses of racing across 2 channels. We're with Brendan Popplewell when we return on the Punters Lounge.
Here comes Bone Crusher now. Veriana sounds like fun. Bone Crusher stretching out after them, and Horlicks right through on the inside. Sounds like fun. Bone Crusher, and Bone Crusher got there. Photos, Horlicks second. Sounds like fun. Veriana the next one home. He's a champion.
30 years on, and of course the Bone Crusher Stakes does take place today at Ellerslie, and the race over the 1,400 metres for the 3-year-olds named in Big Red's honour. The Bone Crusher Stakes this afternoon is Ellerslie's feature. Speaking of Ellerslie, we've got Brendan Popplewell on course, and Brendan will say a very good afternoon to you. Looking forward to your action this afternoon coming out of Auckland.
Yeah, thank you for that, Emily. Yeah, very good afternoon to you as well. And yeah, lovely warm afternoon here out of headquarters as we gear up for, as we see in that little clip there, yes, Bone Crusher, a horse that is really in our hearts of the racing fraternity, and a horse that got many into the racing game, especially me at such a young age, to see Big Red doing what he did on the racetrack, and great to see a race in his honour, and of course a statue of Big Red out back as well. So yes, the Group 3 Bone Crusher Stakes, interesting field, isn't it, this year, and a race where a chance for maybe an up-and-comer to be able to really announce themselves as a leading 3-year-old for the summer racing ahead. So we'll look more into that Group 3 feature, but not too long ago I was able to catch up with the track curator here in Jason Fulford. Well, Jason, just talk us through the week. Of course, we had a race betting here last Saturday. There's been a fair bit of rain that's fallen as well in that last 7 days.
Yeah, there was some unfortunate rain during the day as well, hence the downgrade during the day on Saturday. We had a lot more after that. We've had 58 mils inside of that earlier on this week.
Yeah. So it's been a good test for the track, and it's always coming back now with the fine weather we've got here that presented today as well.
Yeah, I think it's proven its worth and weight, the drainage that we've done on the track, along with the work that we continually do on it with annual maintenance, and I think it's starting to prove its worth.
Yep. Okay, a rail movement today?
Yeah, it's just get that damage spreading across the track. Might as well use the track, that's what it's there for. There is a little bit of disadvantage, of course. I think it's a lot in people's minds. I shouldn't say that, when we're putting the rail out with biases and whatnot. But there is probably a little bit to play with that. It is at 6 metres today. We'll move it out again and then bring it back, and then we'll be back into the innermost for Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's right, because of course Thursday coming up, you have a race meeting here, the Christmas Twilight race meeting, the Jockeys World Cup, and then back again on the Sunday as well.
Yeah, that's right. So we're just preparing that, keeping the track looked after for our bigger days as well.
All right, looking forward to the day. All the best, Jason.
Good as gold, thanks.
So that's Jason Fulford's insight into the track conditions there at Ellerslie this afternoon. Obviously crucial for your investments this afternoon. That rail just out the 6 metres, something to bear in mind. Let's get straight into the preview at Ellerslie. We kick it off with race 1, as you might expect, and we can have a little look at that market before heading to Stephen Hunt. River Run, 351.40 on the tote. The number 6 as favourite, 390. What have we seen here, Stephen, in the maiden over the 1200?
Pretty competitive market, Emily, on the top 5 in betting, headed by River Run at a $3.50 quote, off a peak of $3.80. Tough Kid well supported in that second line of betting. Lethinus does the riding here. Lethinus, a $4 chance to take out today's J Challenge. One of many good rides on Tough Kid, who has run second to a sub-winner in Rose Bowl. So some pretty good form around Tough Kid in that second line of betting. Miraja at $4, again, well supported in the third line of betting. Heat Seeker, Boogie Easy, $6 each of 2, well respected as well. So can't give a strong and a driven lead here in terms of the top 3 or 4 in betting. In fact, I'm not even sure who's going to close favourite in this contest. There's 4 or 5 that are a nice even spread in the first 24 hours of trading.
Well, an open race to kick things off. Brendan, how did you assess the maiden Tough Kid maps to go forward? Is that crucial with the rail out?
Yeah, it can be. Interesting, I spoke to Jason Fulford about that, just talking about the rail movement, and he's a firm believer on the bigger tracks that it doesn't have as much importance as it would maybe on a tighter turning circuit, with it being more beneficial to those riding up on speed. You know, as we can see so often in race meetings like at New Plymouth, for instance, when that rail moves out, it's on a tighter turning course. It's more beneficial to those that are up on speed, but maybe not so much here at Ellerslie, and that was where Jason was coming from around his comment in the track condition. And I think that's an interesting thought on a big, wide, roomy track like we do have here at Ellerslie. So anyway, let's have a look at this race. Tough Kid, he's a horse who's he's got a little bit of form around him. He was placed last time out behind Rose Bowl at Hastings. This is River Run, who ran third first time for Tony Pike out of his stable when finishing third behind the stablemate in ScoMo Eagle at Tarapa on the 25th of November. It was a pretty good run from him. He's only been beaten less than half a length behind ScoMo Eagle, so you'd imagine he'd be a big improver. This race could be a niggly little affair, though. There's potential a bit of speed from the likes of Maria. They're on a number 6 who can go forward. She was trapped wide on speed first time to the races this preparation. I'm going to give Heat Seeker another chance. With what he did last season, he put in some superb runs. Last 600 sectionals were brilliant in some of his races when he was smoking home. He's an improver off his first up run behind a horse who was really well spruiked in Blood Warrior. In a small field, he may not get too far off them. I thought he was a nice little bet at around $6 or $7 around Heat Seeker. I'm a bit of a fan of his, and I do think he might be able to get some of the prize in race number 1, Emily.
Thanks, Brendan. Let's get you along to race number 2 on the card coming in from Ellerslie. It is the Brookley Stables 2200 metre event. So over the staying trip, number 6, Charlie Rose, is the favourite at 4s and 160. Looks like punters are acting with a bit of caution here, Stephen.
Yeah, in all honesty, it lacks a little bit of quality over the 2,200 metre journey. Emily, headed by Charlie Rose at $4. Look, this mare doesn't owe us anything, so pretty happy to trade it at $4. Currently a losing result, is the best back runner. Holds around about 3 times more money than your Basso, who sits in that second line of betting at 5.5. El Jody in that third line, $6 off a short of 5.5. Easy Walking, one of 2 runners for Stephen Marsh, $6.50 solid. And the stablemate Miss Rippy, also well supported at $8.50. And there's also a bit of speaking around Model A at $13 at the top of the book off a peak of 15. Currently a losing result. So best back runner, Charlie Rose at $4. But again, punters willing to spec 4 or 5 against her.
Brendan, as we get along to you, Charlie Rose, I like the horse, but have we given her enough chances? Should she have won by now or made it a second win?
Yeah, it's a good point you make, Emily, isn't it? Because Charlie Rose went up in distance 2 starts ago at Tauranga, and the horse was very well supported there on that occasion and was beaten 3 lengths in behind El Jody, who was a race rival here this afternoon. And then went to Waverley and was also beaten by Lord Have Mercy when presented as a short price favourite. Look, maybe it's a case that the horse has just needed those runs over ground to be able to really show her worth. So you can understand why she's favourite from the right stable with the gate that she does have over the 2,200 metres. I didn't mind you a Basso. This is a horse who's been unlucky in a number of her runs this preparation. She was a horse, you go through her efforts at Tauranga, she was getting back, she was working home. She was unlucky 2 starts ago out of Tauranga, where she just never really got into the race at the right time. She was in an awkward spot and then was unlucky down the straight. So this is her run when she was presented at Te Araha on the 13th of November when working home 3 lengths off Nedi Nadim over the 2200 metres. She's a horse who's won just the 2 from 30, but she's an honest mare with the 6 minor placings. She's the sort of horse I'm happy to back each way in a race like this. Don't want to go too crazy, but certainly if you're looking for an investment, I was having something on you, Bass, so just a small each way on that runner. 8, 9, 6 and 7, Emily, in race number 2.
Thanks, Brendan. Let's get you along to the third on our card from Ellerslie, and it does feature a pretty classy performer in Gundown. 3.30, 1.30, 3.10 and $1.40. It was a dominant win last time, Stephen, and no doubt the stable are hoping it can get another victory.
Yeah, and possibly contest the City of Auckland Cup races like that around Gundown. $3.30 off a peak of $3.60. Very well supported in that top line of betting. They have come for 3 runners here, and they are the top 3 in the market. Terra Sancna well supported in that second line of betting at $3.50. And Divine Duke, good money for Divine Duke as soon as betting commenced on Thursday afternoon around this individual. $7 into $6.50, and that includes a $500 bet at $7. Now, just as important telling the punters around firmers, it's also just as important around the cold horses. Number 2, Andois, hasn't raced since early part of November. First time over ground here, 2,000 metres. Friendless at the moment. What's it paying on the tote, Emily? Around about $12. Might finish round between our current price of $7 and the totalizer, so maybe around that $9, $10 price around Andois later on this afternoon. A little bit of specking around rough cut, could be pace influence around there at $16, but overall a lot of concentration on Gundown, Terra Sancna and Divine Duke.
They are the class performers in this, aren't they? Brendan, Gundown, Terra Sancta, as we said. Andois, I know for the boys who are involved, they'll be pretty excited to see him go.
I'm sure they will be, and especially over the more distance of 2,200 metres, which he gets today, Andois. And look, he's a runner at Awapuni. I'm happy just to forget. Got back in the worst part of the track, was trying to come up closer to the rail at Awapuni, where they weren't winning from. And of course, 2 starts ago here, Opie had that injury at the gate when jumping. So prepared to just forgive what's happened the last 2 starts with Andois. It's hard to go past the 1 and the 4, the 4 and the 1 though, isn't it? Let's go to Gundown. As Stephen pointed out, he's on a Cups path and he could be here on the 1st of January, this horse in Gundown. And look, he's a horse, or the City of Auckland Cup, isn't it, the race that they're looking at. So look, Gundown is a horse who won last time to the races in open handicap grade, and he was down to the 54 kilograms. Demonetisation just got held up enough for him to be able to finish off the race where he got the way on out wide. If demonetisation had got the gap earlier, would that horse had beaten Gundown? Look, possibly. It was enough in it with how long the horse was held up for, but just loved the way that he was working home. Centre part of the track, 1,600 metres. As we know with Gundown, he gets better when he gets over further distance, and that's what he gets here today, up to the 2,200 metres. He was a nice 3-year-old. He was able to find himself in stakes company, being placed as a 3-year-old. And that was his last win when 3rd up this campaign, the son of High Chaparral. We go back to the same race meeting and we go to the feature of the day, and it was the Counties Cup. And Terra Sancta, I really do believe that she just didn't quite cop this ground at Pukekohe Park, which was rated a slow 7, but she's still been able to finish into 5th position. So it was a tidy run from her. She was able to run 2nd here 2 starts ago when she was working home behind Mongolian Marshall over 1,600 metres. She had a very good campaign through the Queensland Brisbane Winter Carnival. Blinkers going on, tongue tie on, and the track condition getting back to a dead 5, and by the time we're 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it will still be improving. She's the one I'm going to go for in the end in the race. Between the 1 and the 4, I've linked towards the 4 in Terra Sancta in front of the 1 Gundown. Really don't think there's much between them. I think it's a lovely Quinella to be playing. Interested to hear that move, Emily, around Divine Duke. Of course, he put up a superb run. He's put up a number of good runs. He's run through the winter, and then they've spaced his runs. He looked like he was heading towards the New Zealand Cup. He ran at 4th last time out to the races, which was in the middle of October out of Mudabutta, and he's taken some support in Andois. So 4 to beat 1, 2 and 5 and behind.
Thanks, Brendan. That's great. Let's get you along to the next on the card coming in from Ellerslie. Number 10 is the favourite. The number 10 to be ridden by Andrew Calder at 3s and 340. Stephen, as we get to you, it is the best back runner, but what else is creating any interest?
There's a couple, Emily. Number 14, Meteoric Lass, has been well supported. Currently trading that third line of betting with the same quote of Power Dream at $7 off a peak of $11.50. Meteoric Lass, so some good support around the Te Akau runner. Was well backed at Te Rapa a few weeks back, and punters reinvesting here. Marzamino back at the top of the book, $3 off a peak of $3.30. She profiles well, the fact that she does like to sit on speed, and punters got plenty on first up at Te Araha a few weeks back. So again, punters reinvesting on the 10 Marzamino. Looks to be a real progressive sprinter in the north, does number 10. Short fuse well supported at $6.50 in the second line of betting. I've also mentioned Power Dream early on. Bit of a drop back in grade here, well supported at $7. Bit of speaking around Ruby Bloom, who was a touch unlucky at Hawke's Bay last start, 15s into 12s. And Bravissimo has been well supported, 35 into 26. Currently a losing result, but once multis run through, she will be a winning result later on this afternoon. But best back has been number 10 Marzamino at a $3 price.
Brendan, that gives us a pretty good indication into that money around Marzamino. And it was a resuming win, and surely can only go onwards and upwards from there.
Gee, it was a heck of a win, wasn't it, Emily, from a horse that I know had been touted that she has got that ability, and I know she'd been backed and beaten a couple of times through her last campaign, but boy, she exploded away, didn't she, to win out of Te Araha. It was a stress-free watch, especially with that race. I'm sure Stephen won't mind me reminding him that this was a race where there was a big multi finishing on the Peter and Dawn Williams trained runners when Marzamino won so easy by 4.5 lengths. Let's go back to a race, first of all, that was Stakes Company and comes back to a rating 72. And this is Power Dream, who finished into 4th position in the Counties Bowl, of course, behind Bostoni. Now, we're going to have a good look at this race again later on, because you've got Santa Monica, who finished in 2nd position in this race. Looks to be an almighty big chance in the open sprint in race number 5. But this is Power Dream. I love the way that she's worked home. She's a horse who does have good gate speed. We haven't quite been able to see it this preparation, maybe down to some of her barrage rules, obviously been in such a strong race last time to the races where Popstar Princess was always going to find the lead because it's so explosive out of the gates. But this horse did a nice job to be able to work home and finish into that 4th position. Now here's Marzamino. This is the horse when winning out of Te Araha, went straight to the front, high-tailed it and kept on running to run 109.96 for the 1200 metres around Te Araha. And just look how easy this was. We saw her do this at the trials, and it was a replica race day when she turned up and won at Te Araha. So she's got to go again to that next grade, rating 72 grade, but no doubt with what we've seen from there, if she can go one better, well, she's going to be awfully hard to beat. I don't mind the horse at the bottom of the book, Meteoric Lass. This is a horse I know that has been backed as well into that $7 quote, opened at around sort of $11 did this horse. I thought the 4th last time to the races was very tidy, beaten 3.5 lengths. She showed talent when winning first up as well out of Topol when getting the upper hand of Motivation. Now, if I was looking to play one in the race, I was certainly happy to have something on the runner at the bottom of the book, and the 14 with the 10 Marzamino maybe as your saver.
Thanks, Brendan. Let's get races 5 through till 8. That'll be later on the preview, of course, including the Bone Crusher Stakes. We'll be back with Brendan Popwell for that. For now, we get you off to a break, and on the other side, it'll be live racing continuing from Trentham.
It's Chip Chip Rock in front for at the 100 metres clear from Ensemble, and William Scott late run Scometti, but Chip Chip Rock, good on you, Dawn Williams. That's 1,000 training successes for Dawn Williams, and it bolted in too.
And that leads us perfectly into the 5th on the programme from Ellerslie. It is the celebrating Dawn Williams' 1,000th winner. She's being celebrated at both Ellerslie and Trentham, which is fantastic to see. Princess Kiruru is the favourite at 321.25, 350 and 190. Stephen, money for Santa Monica. There's interest in Volts Lightning. How about that? It's pretty even at the top end.
It is, Emily. The best lead I can give is number 8, Princess Kiruru, with the blinkers on, 320 off a peak of $4.50. That accepts a 500. That also acknowledges a $500 bet this morning at a $3.50 quote around Princess Kidadu. In that second line of betting, Santa Monica 360 out to 380. Fox Lightning has to carry the hefty 60 kilograms, rock solid in that third line of betting at $4.20. How about that? Well supported in the last hour or so, Emily, $6 into $5.50. Something Vain, Riki Tiki Tavi, $10 each of two. Riki Tiki Tavi, unbeaten track and distance, which I mentioned at the top of the show. Probably the best spec at longer odds, and Mighty Me ranks off the 7-horse field at $15, quite friendly. So best backed in order, Princess Kidadu in front of Volks Lightning. How about that? And then the second favourite in Santa Monica.
What are you going to do here, Brendan? Obviously, there's, as we talked about, quite competitive at the top end. You've got a horse like Riki Tiki Tavi returning to Ellerslie, which may be an interesting contender.
Yeah, look, it's an intriguing race, isn't it, this one? And shame that we've lost the likes of Spring Heat out of the race as well. I was looking forward to seeing what she was going to bring to this race today. She came back fresh. But look, it's a race where we see Volks Lightning, who was good enough to win at the Group 3 level, first up in the Swainey Stakes. Now, of course, she was down to run a couple of weeks ago in the Counties Bowl, but the tracks was just too wet for her on that occasion. Look, she's going to have to be very good today to win with 60 kilos, isn't she, Volks Lightning? We know that she's a Group 1 performer. She was Group 1 third in the Railway here, and that's the race they've got their eyes on again on New Year's Day. And that was her win when holding out Indecision, who has, of course, won since then as well. The next horse we want to show you is that race again from the Counties Bowl, and a chance to look at the horses who run into 2nd and 5th position. They've been Santa Monica and Princess Kidadu. Now, Santa Monica is a horse who really is suited to doing this, and that is having that last shot. We saw the horse trying to be ridden a little bit closer to them and trying to utilise a barrier draw. She still didn't throw it away. She ran into 4th position. They were able to run along up front, and she was able to produce a good finish down the outside part of the track. If they tick along, she is the horse that could be closing best here in this race, because she certainly did that here in the Counties Bowl when bumping into Bostonian in front, who continued on with that winning record, and then Princess Kidadu closing hard up against the rail as well to finish into 5th position. I was with Santa Monica running number 5 in the race. I was happy to mark her down as a bet as well for our strategy. 5 to beat the 1 in Volks Lightning, the 8 in Princess Kidadu as well, and then how about that, runner number 2. 5, 1, 8 and 2, Emily, in race number 5.
That takes us on to race number 6, which is the feature coming from Ellerslie, the Bone Crusher Stakes on the meeting code of 2. Total excess, 380-160 on the tote fours and $1.30. I know you spoke earlier, Stephen, about total excess attracting a lot of attention. How has that been since earlier on this morning?
Just continues to flow on the unbeaten galloper. Look, we quite often respect the unbeaten gallopers, quite often in these young 2-3-year-old events, and total excess, no exception, $3.80 off a peak of 5.8. I didn't see this amount of money for total excess when I was pricing personally, Emily, during the week. I thought it was quite an even race, but money talks, and clearly the best back runner holds 4 times more money than our original and opening favourite in Marcetta at $4.40. Spirits will be at $8 solid in that third line of betting. A little bit of speaking for number 8, can't stop the feeling. A lot of people believe they've found a bit of value around number 8, $12 off a peak of 21. It's just kept tumbling in the last 24, 48 hours. Andrew Calder does the riding. A little bit of speaking also for number 6, Cavallo Valace. Also the stablemate Lankawi has been quite friendless. Take what you want out of that money drive. But overall, the best back runner on the card today at HQ is number 4, Total Excess, in the feature today, the Bone Crusher at Group 2 level.
Thanks, Stephen. As we get across to Brendan, it's the feature on the card, Brendan, and normally these races are a little bit more straightforward, but gee, this one is tricky, isn't it?
It is. It's very wide open. You've got the dynamic of horses bouncing out of maiden races, bouncing out of sort of midweek races into a stakes race second up. You've got horses that have competed in some very good stakes races as well, or maybe the lower graded sort of 3-year-old races on an undercard Saturday where Total Excess sort of falls into that category. So, yeah, how do you sort of bundle that all up and come up with 4 selections? Let's have a look at some videos for you. Maceto. Gee, this horse was big first up and then produced it second up as well, where the horse was back saving ground up along the inside, found a bit of backwash, and then still found a way to win the race. Love the turn of foot this horse has got. Very explosive at the end of the race. To be honest with you, Hypnos looked like was going to win the race. He was able to get that trip in behind, got the split between them, and then was gathered in late by Marsetto. Same race, he had Spirits or Beer finishing into third position. Here's Total Excess. This was a win and a half, wasn't it? Because the horse was able to chase, and once balanced up and really given a couple with the Shillelagh from Nick Baccar, he responded and went away to win by 2.5 lengths in the end. As sort of Stephen pointed out, this is a big move. This is a serious push for a horse that has got some very deep form around some other runners in the race. They really are climbing out of trees to back this one from that 5.8 opening quote. This is the form line I like. This is a horse who is in a spot in the market that I'm happy to try and take some. This is fourth in a Hawke's Bay Guineas from Star Performance. I mean, as we know, the horse who wins this race comes out and wins the 2,000 Guineas. You have Mount, who started as one of the favourites, who ran second, who started in the 1,000 Guineas as one of the favourite runners. King Louis as well. There's sort of Osmond that he's going past closer to the rail, who then came out and won the Sarton. That is a good field. That is a very good field. He's had a bit of a freshen up since then, has Star Performance. He's at a place in the market where I think he is very backable off that form. He's showing enough. I know that he's well regarded by the team as well. He's got himself a middle barrier draw. I was just happy to back him each way in the race. If he's presented at around that 850 and threes, 850, 250, somewhere around that mark, I think he's backable in the race. 2 on top, in front of the 3 in Marsetto. If things can happen in front for him, he could show that devastating turn of foot, and then obviously big respect around the 4 in the race as well, and that being Total Excess. Exciting race, the Bone Crusher Stakes at Group 3 level.
It sure is. Following on from the Bone Crusher Stakes, we have another pretty handy race on the card, and it is the Dunstan Feeds 1500 metre championship qualifier. Over 1500 metres, Swiss Watch at 461.85. You've got Beaumarchais 660.230, Monrecoeur 660.230. Stephen, this market is all over the place. What can you tell us as we build into the start time?
Plenty of market support around the 9 Swiss Watch, which is normally the case, Emily, when this horse goes around. Got the bickies for the punters at Hawke's Bay early preparation. I don't think the off-track at County suited this individual when it was narrowly beaten. But at HQ on a dead 5, possibly a dead 4 later on this afternoon, they've come in their droves for Swiss Watch. $4.60 top line of betting off a top fluck of $7. Monrecoeur $6 off a peak of $7. Beaumarchais on the rocks, the mitigator, $9 each of 3. The best lead I can give you there is Beaumarchais, well supported. In fact, it's the second best back runner, even though he sits in that third line of betting. 1,200 metres, far too short when it resumed at Gate Pass. Steps up to the 1,500. Michael Coleman in a purple patch of form, as is the stable Tiakau. So Beaumarchais well supported at a $9 price. Outside the horses I've already mentioned, it's been quite friendless, even though it looks to be a deep field on paper. But best back runner clearly number 9, Swiss Watch, with a bit of specking around the 2, Beaumarchais.
Speaking of Beaumarchais, Brendan, he's a horse who I was really keen on. I love that third, and I reckon that he can really improve off the back of that.
Gee, if he can, Emily, it's a race that he can win, isn't it, Beaumarchais? We know how he can really peel off a closing sectional, and he showed that 1,200 metres into third position out of Tauranga. I'm going to take you back to a horse who won nearly 12 months ago at this venue. It was on the Jockeys World Cup night, which we will have here on Thursday coming up, and it's Monrecoeur. Now, this was a win in the Twilight Cup over 1,500 metres when Ben Allen did the riding on this occasion. Loved the way that she was presented, and she was able to win and do the job very nicely. Now, her recent form, she was beaten in behind Gundown in the open handicap out of Pukekohe Park. She comes back to rating 82 level, does this horse. She hasn't been too far on all of her preparation runs this campaign. She has Darren Dennis aboard, who gets 3 kilos off and gets down to a featherweight of 52 kilograms. I like Monrecoeur in the race. I think she is a horse that can be a big chance in the race, and happy to be backing at $6 with that featherweight. 13 on top in front of the other each way, specking in the race for me, and Smart Dragon. Got no favours last time to the races, did Smart Dragon. Could go around at a $10 or $12 quote. In the race, Emily, race number 7, I'll be having something each way on the 7 and 13.
Thanks, Brendan. Let's get you along to the 8th, and it'll be the final race on that card from the Ellerslie Twilight Races, the last at 7:10 p.m. 2,200 metre rating 72, where you've got Starry Beale as the favourite, and it was a dashing performance last time, Stephen, so of course you'd be expecting to see it right in the market.
Yeah, flashing light last started our pony first time over ground, Starry Beale. But we expected a lot of money around this individual. I don't think it's as clear cut as what I'm seeing punters wise or money wise around Starry Beale. $3 off a peak of 4. Love Light, I thought it just peaked on its run last start, well supported at 380, and Gold Spice was rattling home at gate par, first time over ground, excuse me, this preparation at $4.60. Firefly full sibling to Starry Beale, and that fourth line of betting at $7. The rest of the runners led by Lady Shabelle have been friendless, so a decent go on the 6 Starry Beale, but pretty happy to keep it at the $3 trade.
Brendan, as we get along to you, that performance by Starry Beale last time at our pony was so impressive, and I'd be thinking that this horse could probably back it up once again.
Yeah, look, it's a run that we've sort of been waiting from this horse as well. And this preparation, he's turned a corner, hasn't he, Starry Beale? Because I know the team had always held that private reputation around him that this horse can gallop. And we saw him win his maiden at Te Rapa when winning back there on, Labor Day Monday. Bumped into a very strong field here behind Rhinestone Cowboy, which has just held up. Gee, that form is brilliant from Melbourne Cup Day. And then he produced this. Bang! Starry Beale wins at Awapuni. It was so good. So good to take in with what this horse did here with Chris Johnson aboard. Michael McNabb, who's come back this week, of course, back riding in New Zealand after his stint in Queensland, and he's come back in good form as well. He won the winner of the last at Matamata. He was able to win aboard Church Road as well on Wednesday at Pukekohe Park. So he's starting to get back into form as Michael McNabb, and I love the way that horse has picked them up and dropped them late. Here's Gold Spice. Now, Gold Spice does have a placing here at stakes level in the Sunline Vase does Gold Spice. Now, this horse very late here in the race gets close. It was worked on here by Trudy Thornton, but doesn't she respond? You look how she gets close to the winner here, which was Sunburst, who looked to have the race in safekeeping halfway down, but then she really starts to wind up into her work. She's a filly that did compete in the Oaks, and that was her run over the distance of 2,100 metres. So 2,200 metres will look very suitable here this afternoon. Mark the 6 on top, Emily Starry Beale, but big respect around the 2 and Gold Spice as well with how that horse went last start at Tauranga.
Brendan, you've got $100 to spend. What's going to be your betting strategy across the program at Ellerslie today?
All right, Emily, look, I'm going to go for Starry Beale. I do like the horse today. I'm going to mark it as my best bet in the last. So we'll centre a fair bit of my stake around that runner, and Star Performance as my value bet. So we'll go to Meteoric Lass in race number 4. 10 to win on that runner. Do like Santa Monica in race 5. 20 to win on that horse. Star Performance in race number 6. 10 each way in the Bone Crusher. We'll go each way on race number 7 around Smart Dragon and Mon Recur. I was running out of funds, so I could only cut that back down to 5 each way. Would like to put another 0 in front of that anyway. And Starry Beale in the last 30 to win on that runner. That's our strategy for today. And our first race, Emily, is set down to start at 2:48.
Thanks, Brendan. Looking forward to joining you at Ellerslie for that afternoon of racing. We head across the Tasman now. We haven't had the chance early on in the Punters Lounge, but now we take you to Mark Ulmus coming in from WA. And Mark, we've got a fantastic weekend of racing from Western Australia, as we say. A very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Emily, and good afternoon to all of the viewers. It's great to be aboard, and the last week of the Tab Touch Masters over there, their big 3-week carnival, consisting of 3 $1 million races in each of the weekends. We finished things off with the Kingston Town Classic. It's a 1,800 metre weight for age Group 1. A lot of these horses we saw go around in the Railway Stakes a fortnight ago, which was so brilliantly won by Galaxy Star. So really looking forward to this contest. There's also a star 3-year-old filly in the making, the likes of Arcadia Queen, who was just devastating in the WA Guineas on the same day as the Railway Stakes. So it's shaping up to be a really, really intriguing race, especially with the Eastern States contingent. We've got the likes of Trap for Fools, top weight. Look, he's originally a WA horse, but he's now with Jared McLean at Warrnambool in Victoria. He won the McKinnon Stakes last week, so that's a different form line into this. And he's also a speed angle in this race. We've also got the likes of Iconoclasm, which has stayed here. Holy Snow, another interesting runner, number 11, which has the same preparation that Stratum Star had when winning this same race 2 years ago as Darren Weir Kemp.
It's been interesting in the media during the week. William Pike, obviously, he is sort of has that cult following in WA, and he's come out in the media and said, "I don't know if I've made the right choice. Maybe I should have stayed on Galaxy Star." What has the feedback been like, and what are your thoughts on perhaps his decision to ride Arcadia Queen?
Well, he never knows, Emily. He's as open as anybody, and he'll tell you more often than not he gets it wrong. But Bob Peters, the owner of the cerise and white cross-sash colours, he said he thinks that Willie's made the right choice. He had a choice of 4 horses in this race, and he decided to go with the 3-year-old filly. And the good thing about William Pike, from my perspective, is that he rides very strong at 50 kilos. Of course, a 3-year-old filly taking on weight for age company gets a nice weight allowance. William Pike is very, very strong at 50 kilos, which this mare will be carrying, which is a big, big tick. The beauty of this filly as well is that she can sit forward. A lot of Bob Peters like to go right back. This horse can show a little bit of pace early and probably sit 3 pairs back, or maybe even a pair off the leaders. But she'll be right there. She was devastating in the WA Guineas, where she carried 54.5. She drops down 4.5 to 50 kilos, whereas Galaxy Star goes from 53 to 57. On times, they were fairly even, both over the mile. But just with that weight advantage, and I think the draw advantage here as well, Arcadia Queen, she looks awfully hard to beat. Bob Peters did it with a 3-year-old filly winning this race in 2015 in Perfect Reflection. She was one out of the box as well, Emily. She was very, very, very special. And I think Arcadia Queen is actually better than her. So number 15, Arcadia Queen, I'm seeing being very, very hard to beat.
What's your betting strategy, Mark, throughout the day? What are we liking? What's your best bet on the card?
Look, we'll keep it simple. The betting strategy for the Kingston Town Classic anyway, 100 straight out on Arcadia Queen. That's number 15, Arcadia Queen race 8. I also have found one in race number 2. Look, you know what they say in racing, there's no interest like self-interest. Now, full disclosure, I've got a share in this horse that I think can win. I'm not usually keen on my own horses, Emily, but number 9, Shackleton, in race 2. This is a blinker horse. The blinkers go on for race day. He trialled up beautifully without them. But you should have seen the trial. His ears were wiggling all over the place. He just didn't know what to do. When he gets the blinkers on, no joke, he'll improve about 10 lengths. And with match fitness, he'll probably improve another 3 or 4. There's a stack of speed on. He'll be sitting just in behind him. Jared Noski, of course, the answer to many trivia questions. To her rode Black Caviar to win her first race. He takes the ride on Shackleton, and I think it'll be awfully hard to beat it around the $5 mark. He looks to be another really, really good bet on the card.
Thank you so much for your time, Mark. It's been great to have your insight into the Western Australian racing over the past couple of weeks, and we look forward to the Group 1 Kingston Town Classic this evening.
My pleasure, Emily, and a big thank you to the Trackside viewers.
So Mark Almus there just talking us through Western Australian racing, which of course will take centre stage when it comes to racing from across the Tasman. Valachi feature runners that you're going to see today. Terra Sancta race 3 from Ellerslie, Roll the Dice. Ellerslie race 6 and Bellacourt race 7 from Ellerslie. So that's the Valachi feature runners today on the card at Ellerslie. We take you back on course at Trentham. We've got a pretty handy race coming up, and let's link in with Bevan Sweeney and Aidan Rodley, Tony Lee, all on course for this afternoon's racing.